What happens when the leader of the world's most powerful country sends a warning to Taiwan, right after meeting China's president in Beijing? That is exactly what Donald Trump has done, and the message is sending shockwaves across Washington, Taipei, and Beijing. Trump is cautioning Taiwan against declaring independence from China, while also insisting that nothing has changed in U.S. policy. But behind those simple words is a much bigger question. Is this just diplomatic caution, or is the world watching the beginning of a new and dangerous phase in U.S.-China relations? Stay with me, because in this video we are breaking down what Trump said, why it matters, and what it could mean for Taiwan, China, and the global balance of power. Section 1. What Trump said. According to ABC News Australia, Trump's warning came at the end of his visit to Beijing, where he met Chinese President Xi Jinping. When asked about Taiwan, Trump said he is not looking to have somebody go independent, and added that he wants China to cool down and Taiwan to cool down as well. That is a very loaded statement. Why? Because Taiwan is one of the most sensitive flashpoints in global politics. It is self-governing, democratic, and heavily armed, but China sees it as part of its territory. Every time a U.S. president or former president speaks about Taiwan, the entire region listens. Trump also stressed that U.S. policy has not changed and that nothing's changed for the people of Taiwan. But even if the policy remains the same on paper, the tone of a president matters just as much as the wording. And in geopolitics, tone can sometimes be more dangerous than policy. Section 2. Why Taiwan matters. To understand why this is so important, you need to understand Taiwan's place in the world. Taiwan is not just a small island in the Pacific. It is a major economic and strategic player, especially because it sits at the center of Asia's security architecture and global technology. 87653 supply chains. It is also one of the most intense geopolitical disputes on the planet. The United States has long followed what is often called strategic ambiguity on Taiwan. That means Washington does not fully spell out whether it would defend Taiwan militarily if China attacked, but also does not support Beijing's claim over the island. The idea is to discourage both sides from making dangerous moves. That balancing act is delicate. If Washington sounds too supportive of Taiwan's independence, China could react aggressively. If Washington sounds too soft on Taiwan, allies in the region may start doubting American commitments. Trump's comments sit right in that dangerous middle zone, the China factor. Trump's warning did not happen in a vacuum. It came after meeting Xi Jinping in Beijing, which means these remarks are part of a much larger U.S.-China diplomatic dance. China has long said that Taiwan must eventually come under its control, and it has never ruled out the use of force. So when Trump says he does not want Taiwan to go independent, Beijing can interpret that as a sign that the U.S. might not back a formal independence push. That could reduce short-term tensions, but it could also embolden China to keep pressuring Taiwan politically, economically, and militarily. At the same time, Trump said he wants China to cool down. That suggests he's trying to avoid immediate escalation. In other words, he may be signaling restraint rather than surrender. But in geopolitics, even restraint has consequences. Every statement from Washington is decoded in Beijing, Taipei, Tokyo, and beyond. One sentence can shift markets, military planning, and diplomatic calculations across the Indo-Pacific. The arms sale twist. Here is where the story gets even more interesting. ABC News reports that the U.S. has announced a major arms sale to Taiwan worth billions of dollars, including advanced missile interceptors, but the package is still waiting for final approval from the White House. That creates a fascinating contradiction. On one hand, Trump is warning Taiwan not to move toward independence. On the other hand, the U.S. is still preparing to sell Taiwan advanced weapons. That tells us Washington is not abandoning Taiwan. It is trying to manage the conflict without triggering a crisis. Trump was also asked about the arms sale and said, "I may do it, I may not do it," without explaining what would determine the decision. That uncertainty matters. For Taiwan, American weapons are not just military equipment. They're a signal of political support. For China, Those same weapons are seen as proof that the U.S. is interfering in what Beijing considers a domestic issue. So the arms deal becomes more than a transaction. It becomes part of the broader power struggle. What this means for Taiwan. For Taiwan, Trump's comments create both reassurance and anxiety. The reassurance is that Trump said U.S. policy has not changed and that nothing is different for Taiwan. That implies Washington is not publicly abandoning its long-standing balancing strategy. The anxiety is that Trump's wording may suggest less enthusiasm for defending Taiwan if a crisis erupts. His line about not wanting to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war is the kind of statement that foreign governments remember very clearly. Taiwan's leaders are now left to wonder. Does this mean the U.S. still sees Taiwan as a core strategic concern, or is the White House trying to reduce commitments and avoid confrontation? In Taiwan, where security anxiety is already high, even a small shift in language can have major political effects. What this means for the world. The ripple effect is not limited to Taiwan or China. Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and Australia all watch this issue closely because any conflict around Taiwan would destabilize the entire Indo-Pacific. It could disrupt shipping lanes, semiconductor supply chains, and military alliances across the region. Markets also pay attention. Whenever tensions rise around Taiwan, investors start pricing in risk. The world economy depends heavily on stability in East Asia, and Taiwan sits at the center of that system. That is why a statement like this is never just a political headline. It can become an economic story very quickly. And for Washington, this is a reminder that every Taiwan comment carries global weight. One phrase can reassure allies, unsettle adversaries, and create uncertainty all at once. The bigger picture. So what is Trump really doing here? The most likely answer is that he is trying to project control. He wants to show that he can talk tough, keep communication open with China, and avoid an immediate crisis. But diplomacy does not happen in a vacuum, and even a cautious message can be interpreted in very different ways. If Taiwan hears weakness, it may feel more vulnerable. If China hears flexibility, it may push harder. If U.S. allies hear hesitation, they may start questioning American guarantees. That is the challenge with Taiwan. It is one of the rare issues where words are almost as important as weapons. Every speech, every interview, every meeting, and every photo op can influence the strategic balance. And right now, the world is watching to see whether this is the beginning of a calmer phase in U.S.-China relations or just another pause before the next round of pressure. Trump's warning to Taiwan is not just a passing remark. It is a signal that the Taiwan issue remains one of the most explosive topics in global politics. He says nothing has changed. He says he wants both sides to cool down. But the reality is that even a few carefully chosen words can reshape the conversation between Washington, Beijing, and Taipei. So the big question now is this. Is Trump trying to prevent a war? Or is he quietly redrawing America's position in Asia?